Hey, welcome back. It's Jason Walter here. In today's housing market update, I have a lot of information to share with you. So let's go ahead and dive right into the video. But before that, I invite you to subscribe to this channel because I post videos about how this pandemic is affecting our real estate market, and I really enjoy making these videos. So I hope you enjoy those as well. Also, if you appreciate real estate market updates just like this one, please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. And let's go ahead and dive into the video, and I'll share my screen with you right now. Okay, before we dive into the video, let me just share an outline of what I wanted to discuss with you today because I find a lot of interesting trends and news articles regarding the real estate industry in the US. So let me just go over with you what I'm going to be discussing in today's video. So first of all, I'm going to be sharing a report by Realtor.com, and they have a weekly housing trends report that they do this on a weekly basis, and I'm going to share some data from them for the week of October 24th, and that's regarding median home prices, listing prices, days in the market, and so on. In addition, I'm also going to share an article from the Mortgage Bankers Association, or the MBA, and they reported that commercial and multifamily borrowing fell 47% in Q3. Have some really interesting information about that as well. I'm also going to discuss a report from Black Knight. They actually just reported this morning to say that condos are underperforming, especially if you compare that to single family houses. And they have a really great breakdown by region in the US to show how home prices have been increasing and how condos, how those prices have been affected by this pandemic as well. So I'm going to share that information with you as well. In addition, mortgage applications increased in the latest MBA's weekly survey, and I'm going to share that information with you. So let's go ahead and dive in first with Realtor.com's weekly housing trends view for the data week of October 24th. And they had a really good quote here from their website. So according to the report, median listing prices grew 12.2% over the last year, and buyers have now faced 11 consecutive weeks of double-digit growth in asking prices. In my opinion, a lot of people are getting priced out of the market because home prices have been increasing so greatly, but interest rates haven't been decreasing at the same rate. They also say that typically as temperatures drop around the country, around the holidays, October sees prices ease, but that hasn't happened yet this year. So they also said that, however, the number of properties with price reductions is moving toward more seasonal normals, suggesting that price gains may begin to ease in the coming months. And I mention this in my channel all the time that I feel that home prices and the real estate market in general should slow as we progress into the winter months, which is entirely normal for real estate in the US. So let's go over this. So they have a really good depiction of what the median listing prices have been affected by this pandemic, including new listings, total listings, and then time on the market. So they have what happened in the first 2 weeks of March, which I think most of us would consider this pre-pandemic levels, to really see how the data has changed now compared to pre-COVID. So for the first 2 weeks of March, the median listing price was up 4.5% year over year. However, you compare that to the most recent week that they have here, the week of October 24th, the median listing price is up 12.2% year over year. So almost three times greater when you compare that to pre-pandemic levels. So the listing prices have been increasing as well. Of course, we all know that houses that have sold have also increased in prices as well. This is just listing prices, so this is only the asking price, not the sold price. When looking at new listings, the number of new listings that have been hitting the market, that was up 5% year over year pre-COVID, but now we are in negative territory. So most recent down 2% year over year. So inventory has been declining ever since this pandemic, which is causing really a hard time for buyers right now because of the lack of housing inventory, which is this line item here. Total listings or total housing inventory. As you can see here, is down 16% year over year for the first 2 weeks of March. So at this beginning of this pandemic or just before it, we were still at low inventory levels, which is causing all these issues with home buyers right now. Not so much with home sellers though, of course. So total listing inventory down 16% year over year. However, look at this, in October, down 38% year over year when you look at total housing inventory. In Sacramento, where I live and work as a real estate agent, we're down 50% compared to 1 year ago. Make it very challenging for home buyers right now. Time in the market, 4 days faster year over year pre-COVID. However, right now, 14 days faster. So that's 10 days faster than pre-COVID. So houses are selling very, very quickly. So that's the wrap up for Realtor.com. So let's go over here regarding commercial and multifamily borrowing, which has absolutely plummeted in the third quarter of 2020. That has actually compared to 1 year ago, of course. However, they actually increased 12% from the second quarter of 2020. Obviously, second quarter of 2020, the country was more or less at a standstill. So it makes sense that we have increased since then. But when you compare it to 1 year ago, we're seeing really much lower numbers for multifamily and commercial properties. So it said the third quarter saw a 94% year over year decrease in dollar volume of loans for hotel properties. That all makes sense because a lot of people are not staying at hotels, so it's not really a wise investment decision, in my opinion. Or other way to look at it, this is really looking at loan volumes for the commercial and multifamily properties. So we're not seeing a whole bunch of lending on hotel properties right now, and that's probably because of diminished demand, right? In any case, we're also seeing an 83% decrease in retail properties, a 58% decrease for office properties, 51% decline for healthcare, and 31% in multifamily properties, and then a 23% decrease for industrial property loan originations. Also want to point out too that, yeah, we are seeing a decrease of multifamily and commercial lending in Q3, and that's really in line with what we're seeing with construction in the U.S. as well. Because I pulled this data for the U.S. Census Bureau, and this is for housing starts in the U.S. For the month of September, the most recent report they have. As you can see here in the U.S., for one unit for a single-family home, housing starts are actually up 8.5% when you compare it to the prior month, which is August. And when you look at year over year for September 2020 compared to September 2019, single-family home construction or housing starts are up 22.3%. However, when you're looking at multifamily units of 5 units or more, we're down 14.7% month over month and down 17.4% when you compare it to 1 year ago. So housing starts are really ramping up for single family homes, but they're moving in the opposite direction for multifamily. And I found that really interesting because that's really in line with what we're seeing on the lending side as well. Okay, so on a quarterly basis, third quarter originations for industrial properties increased 67% compared to the second quarter of 2020. And then we also saw a 35% increase in originations for office space, a 32% increase for healthcare properties, 4% increase for multifamily properties, but originations for retail properties decreased 27% and originations for hotel properties declined 45%. Obviously, retail and the hotel industry are being really hit hard by this pandemic. All right, so let's go over this report from Black Knight. This is actually a really great article here, so I hope you're still with me on this video here. But obviously, condos have been underperforming and single-family houses have been overperforming as more people are working from home. And a lot of people are seeking houses, larger houses with larger space in the backyard as well, as more people are spending time at home, right? They really have a great graphic here showing by different regions in the US. Let me see if I can decrease the size of this. This is our median price percent change from January to October 2020. So this is for different regions across the US. So we have Queens County in New York, we have a county in Boston, San Francisco County, then we have Charlotte, Seattle, Miami-Dade, and then Cook County in Chicago, Los Angeles County, and Washington, D.C. Again, median price percent change from January to October 2020. So the dark blue is single-family houses, whereas the light blue are condos. These are actually prices. So as you can see here in New York, in Queens County, condo prices have actually been declining, whereas single-family houses have been increasing. And we're seeing the same thing in Boston as well as King County, which is Seattle. And also in other areas too. So in Washington, D.C., for example, the percent change for single-family houses is up over 40%, whereas condos is less than 10%. So we're seeing a transition of people who really want to have more space, and the single-family market is really skyrocketing, whereas the condo market doesn't really favor this pandemic, as people want more space, obviously, right? So they have the breakdown by different regions as well. So San Francisco real estate market, they see the active condo listings have absolutely skyrocketed in 2020 to this highest level in 10 years, the San Francisco real estate market. I'm personally seeing a lot of people moving from San Francisco to this greater Sacramento area because the home prices and condo prices there are so expensive, even rents as well. So in any cases, the San Francisco County number of active listings by property type. So condos are in this light blue line, single family homes in this dark blue line. And this is from 2010 to 2020, so over the last 10 years. But as you can see here, the number of active listings for condos absolutely skyrocketed in 2020 ever since this pandemic hit. We are seeing an uptick in listings for single family houses there as well, but not nearly what we're seeing here for condos. They also share this for the Washington, D.C. area for the median sold prices. Obviously, a single family house is going to be, the sell price there is going to be higher than a condo, but look at the direction these are going. So this is for Washington, D.C. median sold prices since January 2020 to October, so in 2020. So as you can see here, single family houses have been more or less on the upward trend in Washington, D.C. However, when you're looking at condos, those have been more or less flat. When you look at Miami-Dade, for example, the median sold price in Miami for single family houses is going in more or less an upward trend, whereas condo median sold prices have been dead flat ever since February of this year. In addition, they say here at the end, which I think is a really good quote here, it's worth watching the condo market as we close out the year, though it does appear that these effects of the COVID-19 pandemic are here to stay for a while. So it'll be interesting to see how this will change as the months progress, right? All right, last but not least, let's go over this. So mortgage applications actually increased in the latest MBA weekly survey, and this was published today. I'm trying to get this information to you as fast as possible. They actually just published this today. So mortgage applications increased 3.8% from 1 week earlier, and this is for the week ending October 30th. At the time of this video, it is November 4th. So the refinance index, everyone knows that everyone's been refinancing. That's up 88% higher than the same week 1 year ago, which makes sense, of course, when you look at mortgage interest rates. This is according to the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, and this is for over the last 1 year. So right now we're at around 2.81% for 30-year fixed rate mortgage in the U.S. When you compare that to what Freddie Mac says, they say that the average is 2.81% as well. So obviously we're at historically low interest rates, and people are taking advantage of that by refinancing their mortgages. In addition, people are purchasing houses as well because the unadjusted purchase index increased 25% when you compare it to 1 year ago. So mortgage rates continue to hover around record lows this fall. Everyone knows that if you follow my channel. According to the MBA, the average fixed rate mortgage for a 30-year fixed is 3.01%, which is more or less in line with a 2.8%, which I just shared with you. However, they say that FHA loans and jumbo loans all fell to new MBA survey lows. So it's currently at record low interest rates for FHA and jumbo loans. If you're not familiar, FHA are loans that require only a 3.5% down. So they have a low down payment requirement. And then jumbo loans are just on the opposite end. Those are high balance loans, or another word for that is jumbo loans. So Joel Can, who's the MBA's Associate Vice President, he said after a solid stretch of purchase applications growth, activity decreased for the 5th time in 6 weeks, but still over 25% higher compared to 1 year ago, and has increased year over year for 6 straight months. So we're seeing growth of purchase applications far more than last year. However, the growth has been more or less declining over the last 6 weeks. Something, of course, to follow as the months progress. So the refinance share of mortgage activity increased to 68.7% of total applications. Obviously, a lot of people are refinancing right now. And the FHA share of total applications decreased to 11.1%, whereas VA is around 12.2% right now. In addition, the average contract interest rate for a 30-year fixed rate mortgage with jumbo loan balances, those are loan balances of greater than $510,400, decreased to 3.18%. That's a crazy low interest rate. FHA also decreased to 3.08%. And that is today's housing market update. If you like this video, please hit the like button. I greatly appreciate that. That helps support this channel, and this is definitely not my full-time job, so hope you enjoy watching these videos. Also, if you haven't subscribed already, I invite you to subscribe to this channel and join the family, because I post videos about how this pandemic is affecting our real estate market, so please subscribe if you haven't done so already. Also, you can follow me on Instagram. I'm Sacramento Realtor. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video.